to the NCAA Softball Championship Selection Special, presented by Capital One.
64 teams with one dream to get to Oklahoma City and to hoist that hardware right there. It's the 43rd Road to the Women's College World Series tonight. Thrills and chills, some heartache, some heartbreak. This is such a big day, it ought to be a national holiday. Oh, wait, it is. Shout out to all the moms out there on this Mother's Day as we get set to unveil our bracket. I'm Beth Mom.
I'm just saying, anyone with the best reaction at their watch party, I'm going to give you some sort of present. So I want you to bring it. I want dancing. I want great reactions, all of the fun things.
Thank you, Holly, and speed never does sleep. All right, who's the overall #1 this year? Well, for the third year in a row, it's somebody different. And it's a first-timer at the top of the bracket, the Aggies of Texas A&M. Congrats for the first time in school history. You are numero uno, and they will try and win their third national championship. Who is going to be there with them? Bryan College Station Regional gets underway on Friday. How about the Red Flash of St. Francis, led by NEC Player of the Year, Savannah Nash? They will be headed to Texas A&M and debuting on Davis Diamond. Who else is going to Aggieland? Well, how about the Red Foxes of Marist, champions of the Metro Atlantic? Haley R's a 500 hitter. Maya McDonald, 20-plus long balls on the season for her. They come in hot, winners of 17 in a row. They will take on the Conference USA champs for the 5th year running. Rachel Roop, also a really good power hitter. The Flames of Liberty will be at Texas A&M. This was a team that reached the Supers a year ago. So here we go, Amanda, with the Aggies, the top dogs here.
Yeah, and their offense is just so complete. A balance of speed and power, the power with Maya Perez and Mac Barbara, Amari Harper, the speed of Kennedy Powell, Coco Woolley, and Kramer Eshte. And then in the circle, they're led by their ace, the lefty, the first-team All-SEC pitcher, Emily Kennedy, and a deep pitching staff to pitch behind her as well.
If you're looking for NCAA tournament souvenirs, get out beyond the outfield fence at Davis Diamond this weekend. A lot of home run hitters headed your way, led by the overall #1 seed, Texas A&M. All right, we're going to run them down in order. Who's #2? How about the 4-time defending national champs, winners of 6 of the last 8? The Oklahoma Sooners, a new look this year. Will they come up with the same results at the end of the season? They will be hosting the Norman Regional at Love's Field. And they'll get underway on ESPNU Friday night against the Terriers of Boston University, champions of the Patriot League, led by Casey Ricard, a 20-game winner with over, that's right, Surrender Cobra on their heads, but they're going to head in there and fight like a Terrier. She's got over 200 Ks on the season. Oklahoma will open with BU. Remember, this is 4 teams in a regional double elimination format. How about the Mavericks of Omaha? Friday, 3:30 Eastern on ESPN+. Three-peat Summit champs with the sisters Madia and Rylan Groff. Madia is a 25-game winner, and her sister Rylan, a good hitter. They've also got a really good fielding team, 4th best fielding percentage in the country, and they will take on an ACC at-large pick. The Cal Bears are in, the 2002 national champs, for the 36th time, led by Tiana Bell, a 350 hitter with some power. So, Jess, all eyes on the Sooners. Can they keep this dynasty rolling?
Well, Patty Gasso likes to call her the boss. They're led in the circle by Sam Landry, the senior transfer. They've got only 3 returning starters, and a hot Ella Parker leads this offense that led the SEC in slug. Ella Parker, a 9-game hitting streak, and some of the new faces, Nellie McEnroe Marinas, Gabby Garcia, who leads the team in home runs with 16.
All right, so Texas A&M #1, Oklahoma #2. And there is a look at the Norman Regional with Cal, Omaha, and BU. That gets underway Friday evening. And it's time now to move on to the overall #3 seed in this year's tournament. And it is the 2-time national champion Florida Gators hosting at Presley Stadium. They will start their road to the Women's College World Series Friday afternoon.
Yes.
They are loving every minute of seeing their name up there. Who are they going to play first? How about the SoCon champs, the Mercer Bears? Welcome to the party, ladies. Their first trip to the NCAA tournament, and they get a trip to Gainesville to face the Gators. They're led by Tori Hedgecock and Hallie Langford. Who else is headed to Gainesville? How about the Ramblin' Wreck of Georgia Tech at large out of the ACC, led by Grayson Tucker? Oh, yeah.
I love it.
They know how to get a gift from Holly Rowe. That kind of celebration right there.
Winner so far.
Really good pitcher, too, and Sophia Voiles. Their 13th trip to the NCAA tournament. It's Selection Show After Dark tonight, coming your way from Bristol. Are they going to be as excited when they see their opponent? Florida Atlantic, an at-large out of the American. Look out now. The Owls beat Ole Miss and Clemson this year. Yeah. You got to deal with Autumn Courtney. She's a 20-game winner with a sub-2 ERA. And Chloe Yates with 50 RBI on the season. But here we go with the Florida Gators.
Well, good luck in Gainesville, because this is a team that they absolutely bashed. Top 10 in Division I, runs per game, home runs per game. And they've got 97 total home runs on the season, 94 stolen bases, led by Kendra Falvey. Taylor Shoemaker with 18 home runs, just a freshman, leads with 76 RBI. Mia Williams with 19 home runs. Don't forget about Rothrock and Brown in the circle.
All right, so those are...
Well, I'll tell you what, if Georgia Tech celebrates and plays softball the way they celebrate, I think the Gators are going to be in for it. So.
There you go, in Florida with the overall 3 seed in this year's tournament. A whole lot of SEC at the top. We figured with realignment, these guys would be strong with all those top 25 wins and high RPIs. How about the 4 seed? Arkansas Razorbacks. They finished strong, and they will be playing at home in Bogle Park in Fayetteville, led by Brie Ellis, the SEC's Player of the Year. And they open up with the St. Louis Billikens out of the losers bracket. 4 one-run wins, 2 extra inning wins to win the A-10, led by Abby Mallow and Natalie Sullivan. And they will start out with Arkansas Friday night on ESPN+. Again, double elimination format for the 4 teams in each regional. Who else is headed to Fayetteville? How about the Hoosiers of Indiana? They do get in as a Big Ten at-large for their 3rd consecutive trip to the tournament. Number 1 in the country in team batting average and on-base percentage, led by Taylor Minnick. So the Hoosiers will open up Friday afternoon on ESPN2 against a team that was flirting with a host spot, but they will have to hit the road if they want to get back to the World Series for the 6th year in a row. And they are flip-flopping on the tables.
Dancing on tables.
Out there in Stillwater. The Cowgirls and Kenny Gajewski's club are headed back. But everybody in this regional at home is going to be high on the Hogs.
Yeah, they're going to have their hands full with Brie Ellis, the SEC Player of the Year, 26 home runs, 72 RBI. The year that she's having has been incredible. They have the speed with Reagan Johnson, more pop with Courtney Day. And then in the circle, they have Robin Herron, the lefty, who can absolutely spin it with a crazy good changeup, as well as Peyton Burnham. But this Arkansas offense, one of the best scoring teams in the country.
All right. So there you go. I think they fixed their camera at Indiana. We see you, ladies. The Hoosiers are dancing. They'll take on Oklahoma State, St. Louis, and Arkansas. There they go. All getting together in Fayetteville for a good time this weekend. So how about the number 5 seed in this year's tournament? As the softball world comes together, not just to reveal the bracket, but shout out much love to Coach in a good fight down there in Tallahassee for their head coach. The Seminoles, a national champion, 2 trips to the championship series in the last 4 years, and they will be playing at home at the Seminole Softball Complex. This is going to be Friday afternoon on the ACC Network against the Colonials of Robert Morris, first-time champs of the Horizon, and their first postseason trip in 20 years. Mary Brandt, the walk-off 2-run home run in the final in extra innings to grab that bid. Who else is going to be at Florida State? The Bulls of USF will be there. Champions of the American Athletic for the 4th time, rallied from a 4-run deficit to win the tournament, led by Alex Wilkes and Josie Foreman. The Bulls are dancing one more time, and they'll be headed to Tallahassee, the short trip, to take on an SEC at-large. Another team hoping to grab a seed, but they will be on the road, the Auburn Tigers. 2-timers at the Women's College World Series, led by 20-game winner S.J. Guerin, freshman Annalie Adams, and that little dude right there leading the charge for the Auburn Tigers into Tallahassee. Smitty, what you got on the Noles?
Alani Alameda always has a great pitching staff for the Noles, and they are led in the circle by Ashton Danley, the lefty. But this is a top 10 pitching staff in ERA and WHIP. They know how to get it done, and they can slug. Of course, they've got Michaela Edenfield in that catching position. Maya Ross with lots of speed, 20 stolen bases. Katie Dapp, 14 home runs. How about Isa Torres? Just 7 errors on the year, but her offensive numbers off the chart, a .451 batting average. Guys, she's only struck out 4 times all year. Torres is tearing it up.
Remember, the top 8 seeds can host the first 2 weekends. So we hear from the ACC with 4 other SEC teams already grabbing those top 5. All right, who's 6 and could host for a couple of weekends? At McCombs Field for the Austin Regional, it's the Texas Longhorns. Twice to the championship series in Oklahoma City in the last 3 years. They're playing Friday afternoon, led by their band of 400 hitters, including Reese Atwood. They will be playing the Panthers of Eastern Illinois, champions of the OVC, with tournament MVP Carly McKenzie. They won in a walk-off on a wild pitch in the 8th inning of the final, and they are in to the tournament. Who else is headed to Austin? How about the Michigan Wolverines, celebrating the 20th anniversary of their national championship in the very first championship series. They beat both Oregon and UCLA to win the Big Ten.
And a dog.
Tournament MVP Lauren Durkowski will lead the charge for them. And they will open up Friday afternoon on ESPN2 against the Knights of UCF, a Big 12 at-large, led by Sierra Humphreys and Aubrey Evans, and really good freshman in the circle, Isabella Vega. They're in for the 5th year in a row. So, Michelle, those are the teams headed to Austin.
Well, Mike White always puts a complete team on the field. They've got great hitters. Reese Atwood with 17 home runs. How about Caden Henry with 29 stolen bases? Mia Scott, Katie Stewart, Jolie Mitchell, you name them, they can bash the ball out of the park. And oh, by the way, they've got some ace arms in the circle. Tegan Cavan has been outstanding. 188 strikeouts on the year. Mac Morgan, Sitlali Gutierrez.
All right, so this is when the nerves start to kick in. Only 2 spots remain to be a host for a regional, and then if you win a super regional as a top 8 seed. Who is number 7? We stay in the SEC for this one, and we go to Knoxville, Tennessee at Sherry Parker Lee Stadium. The 7 seed Lady Vols. They have been seeded all 18 years of the seeding since 2003. Hold them back. They want to get back to the World Series and the Championship Series, where they've been a couple of times. The Lady Vols will open up against the Red Hawks of Miami of Ohio. The MAC champs had to win twice to advance. They are led by their tournament MVP, Chloe Parks, and a 20-game winner, Madeline Reeves. Who else is headed to Knoxville? How about the North Carolina Tar Heels, an ACC at-large, their first trip since 2019. Kat Rodriguez, look out, a 400 hitter leading the country in runs batted in. And they open up with the Buckeyes of Ohio State, a Big Ten at-large, number 1 in the country in home runs, number 1 in the country in runs scored. They set a new Big Ten home run record this year, led by Jasmine Burns. So Tennessee in the spotlight. Right here is the 7 seed.
Yeah, and Tennessee actually has one of the most under-talked about hitters in the SEC with Taylor Pannell. She's hitting over 400, 15 home runs and 61 RBIs. Alongside her in the lineup is Boo Gibson, Sophia Nugent. But let's face it, Tennessee with the back-to-back pitcher, the SEC pitcher of the year, and Carlin Pickens. She is their team, one of the best pitchers in the country, a sub-1 ERA. Even against the best competition, she brings it and is almost unhittable at times.
Oh, but they're going to need it, because how about the bats? I mean, you talked about Ohio State and Miami of Ohio. I mean, both of those teams can slug it going to Knoxville.
Another place where there might be a lot of home run hitters taking on Carlin Pickens. Okay, a lot of people want this one. Only one can get it. It's the last seed that hosts a regional and potentially a super regional, and it's South Carolina as the SEC grabs 7 of the top 8 spots. And they will be bringing postseason softball back to Carolina Softball Stadium. They open play Friday night, 5:30 Eastern on ESPN Plus against the Phoenix of Elon, the Coastal Champions, their first NCAA in 15 years. All right, bring the noise, bring the noise.
Knocked over the trophy.
Their tournament MVP, Caitlin Wells, will lead the charge into Carolina. Who else is headed to Columbia? How about the Ospreys of North Florida? Welcome to the party, ladies. The ASUN champs are in for the first time.
Yes. First timers, I love it.
Allison Benning could win 20 games and hit 20 home runs this year. Sam Shaw's the only one to ever do that in the history of our game. And they will play Friday afternoon against the Virginia Cavaliers, and at-large out of the ACC. There for the second time. Oh, it's a setting sun outdoor watch party. That's extra points for Holly Rowe.
They have a beautiful field, too.
Eden Bingham, Jade Hilton, Macy Eaton, all ready to go for Virginia Smitty against South Carolina.
Yeah, this is a team that's 31-5 at home, and they can swing it. Lilio's hitting .373. Lexi Winters with a lot of power in her back. Carly Shelton. This is just a very explosive offense that puts a lot of runs up on the board. Ashley Chastain-Woodard's done a great job in her first year with this team. They've also got some good arms in the circle with Sam Gress, who is the ace, Joey Hurd, who's been outstanding as well.
So there are a look at your top 8 seeds, 7 of them with the SEC. Where's the Big 10? Where's the Big 12? How many of them might be coming up as we unveil the second half of the bracket? But there you go, 1 through 8. Texas A&M, the first time in school history, they are the number 1 seed. Still a lot more to go. And a lot of spots still left to fill. We've heard from Florida State. How many other ACC teams with high RPIs may be able to stay home and host a regional, or may have to hit the road? Keep those watch parties coming. We've got more of the selection special after this. All right, let's jump right back into the bracket now. Time to reveal seeds 9 through 16. And number 9, hosting in Los Angeles out at Easton Stadium, the 12-time NCAA champion UCLA Bruins. 32 trips to the World Series in 42 years. They'll open up Friday night on ESPN Plus against the Gauchos of UCSB, champs of the Big West, and Coach Joe Evans, led by 20-game winner Malaya Johnson. Again, 4 teams per regional. And it's double elimination. Who else is going to be there in Los Angeles? Short trip for San Diego State, champions of the Mountain West, led by Callie Decker and Bella Espinoza, their 4th straight trip to the NCAA tournament. And they will open up against the Sun Devils of Arizona State, a Big 12 at-large, and their strikeout pitcher, Kenzie Brown. And those are the teams that will be in Westwood with UCLA.
Well, you can't talk Bruins and not talk the Bash brothers. Megan Grant and Jordan Woolery, 23 and 20 home runs. No 2 teammates have more combined RBI than those 2, 148 RBI. And don't forget Savvy Pola at the top with a .439 batting average, one of the hardest outs in college softball. And you got to think about, too, in the circle, they've got co-aces, Caitlin Terry and Taylor Tinsley, and a sneaky weapon, freshman Addison Fisher, one of the best drop balls.
Remember, that's one of those realignment issues now with Arizona State in the Big 12, UCLA in the Big 10. They couldn't have played in years past. Now they can. How about the 10 seed overall in this year's tournament? Down at Tiger Park in Baton Rouge, it's the Tigers of LSU. They were in the Supers last year. They've been to the World Series on 4 different occasions, led by the SEC's Rookie of the Year, Torrey Edwards, in their fabulous indoor facility there at Tiger Park. They will open up Friday night on the SEC Network against Southeastern Louisiana, the Lady Lions, champions of the Southland.
Got the dance moves. Get it, girl. Get it.
You know their legs work well because they lead the nation in swipes, and it's their 4th consecutive 40-win season. Who else is headed to the Bayou? How about the Huskies of UConn, champions of the Big East, the first NCAA trip in 24 years?
Those suits look more comfortable.
It's like a movie theater.
Grace Jenkins, Caitlin Breslin, they scored 18 runs to win the Big East championship game. They're playing Friday afternoon against the Huskers of Nebraska, and at large from the Big 10. Led by Jordy Ball, the first ever Big 10 pitcher and player of the year. That means Nebraska will be with LSU down in Baton Rouge, Amanda.
Yeah, and this LSU offense is just a reinvigorated offense led by Torrey Edwards, the freshman, 18 home runs, 71 RBIs, one of the best leadoff hitters in the country, and Danica Coffey. Macy Bergeron has some pop, as well as Mackenzie Rudity. And then a 2-headed monster in the circle with a 2-time All-American of Sidney Berzon, the junior, and Jaden Heavner, the freshman. 2 very different pitchers. When they are on, they are really one of the best 1-2 punches in the country.
If I'm a hitter, I do not want to be in this regional. I mean, you got Jordy Ball, everything you just mentioned. No, thank you.
Move that bracket forward, by the way. There is a potential for Ball to face Pickens in the Supers and for Ball to face Oklahoma at the Women's College World Series. Just throwing that out there. How about the 11 seed in this year's tournament? It is the Tigers of Clemson, champions of the ACC tournament. They upset Florida State to do it. Maddie Moore, Reese Basinger, Julia Noller, they'll all be playing home games at McWhorter Stadium. And they will open up Friday afternoon on ACC Network against USC Upstate, the Spartans, and champions of the Big South for the 2nd year running. They've got a 20-game winner in Sierra Manis, and they've got Dr. Dre as well. Maddie Dreyruk, look out in Clemson for Dr. Dre. Who else is going to be at Clemson? How about the Wildcats of Northwestern, a Big 10 at large, led by Lauren Boyd. They've got speed, they've got pressure, they've got 300 hitters like Kaylee Avasado as well. And the Wildcats will start out Friday afternoon against some other Wildcats. 15th straight year for Kentucky, led by 300 hitter Peyton Plotz, who has some power as well. And they're all headed to Clemson, Amanda.
And there's a lot of Cats in general headed to this field for this regional, but Clemson is a team, you guys, that has just gotten better since we saw them on that field in Clearwater. They're a young team, but Maddie Moore, one of their veterans with 16 home runs and 64 RBIs, has led them as a leader. Reese Basinger, ACC Pitcher of the Year. She was a transfer, came from Winthrop and gotten great innings from Brooke McCubbin as well. Marion Collins, Alex Brown, and Abby Vieira round out this offense. 94 doubles, 80 home runs. They have some pop.
All right, that's a look at the Clemson Regional. How about the 12 seed? And a big jump up in the RPI to grab a host because they are the champs of the Big 12 regular and postseason. It's Texas Tech. They are staying in Lubbock at Rocky Johnson Field as the 12 seed, their first trip since 2019, led by Maya Davis, Alexa Langoliers, and Nigeri Kennedy. And they open up with the champs of the Ivy League. With a school wins record, it's the Brown Bears. Laurel Moody, 20-game winner Alexis Guevara, their first NCAA since 1997. Welcome back to Brown. That's Friday night. Also headed to Lubbock, the 2009 national champs, the Washington Huskies, and at-large from the Big Ten, led by freshman Alex DeBoer and 300 hitter Jaden Glad with a lot of power as well. They will open up Friday night on ESPN2. This is a really good opening matchup with the Bulldogs of Mississippi State. 400 hitter Sierra Sacco, 20-game winner Raylan Chafin. And that's a lot of good stuff going on at Texas Tech.
A lot of great stuff going on. Nigeria Kennedy, the reigning player of the year, really just throwing that ball high 70s, just great ability to move the ball around, very complete. How about a whip of .69? And when she's in the circle, you don't need a ton of offense, but they've gotten it from Maya Davis. She's a more complete hitter this year, more power, 5 home runs, 24 stolen bases, and a batting average over 300. So look at this team to be able to score some runs to complete Nyjah.
Well, in Mississippi State saw Nyjah Kennedy in regionals last year when they traveled to Stanford. Sierra Sacco hit a home run off of Nyjah Kennedy, so a little familiarity with the main pitcher in that regional.
Sierra Sacco also hit a foul ball that Scarborough had a little trouble handling the other day. We're not going to revisit that right now. We're going to move on instead to the 13 seed Arizona Wildcats, 8-time national champs, home at Hillenbrand, where you know they hit a lot of home runs. It's the Tucson Regional. They are led by Big 12 Player of the Year Devin Netz, and they will open up Friday night in Tucson against the Broncos of Santa Clara. Welcome to the first-timers.
Yes!
Champions of the West Coast Conference, led by Kara Curran, a 400 hitter with a lot of speed. And that is Santa Clara getting set to take on the Arizona Wildcats. That's Friday night on ESPN+. Who else is going to be in Tucson? The Lopes of Grand Canyon, that's who. Champions of the WAC. They have wins over Washington and Arizona State, and a close loss this year to Arizona, led by one of just 2 500 hitters in the country this year, Savannah Kirk. They go in winners of 23 in a row. And they've got a date with the SEC, the Rebels of Ole Miss, the 9th consecutive trip to the NCAA tournament, led by Bree Lopez, Lexi Brady, and the SEC batting champ, Jaden Pone. All right, Amanda, what do we got? The Arizona Wildcats hosting in Tucson.
Well, I'm glad Jess isn't talking about Arizona because they have two-way players in Devin Netz and Miranda Stoddard who have done big things in the circle and at the plate. Plus, they have Sydney Stewart who has hit 17 home runs. But Devin Netz in the circle, their ace, gets a ball, wants a ball in the big games. She has also hit 17 home runs. And Miranda Stoddard, you guys, has stepped up in the circle this year for the Cats.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Bree Lopez go up against Arizona. I think that's going to be a great matchup.
It's a tough regional, you guys. Holy smokes.
Yeah, and if you move that forward, just saying it might be Arizona and Arkansas if chalk holds. They have some postseason history together in Fayetteville. How about the 14 seed in this year's tournament? We're getting low on who gets to stay home. Only 3 left. One of them will be the Duke Blue Devils, and Duke Softball Stadium hosting the Durham Regional. Hot on the heels of their first ever trip to the Women's College World Series last year. They've got Amina Vega, they've got Anna Gold, they've got Tessa Malaulu, and they will be playing at home, opening up Friday at noon Eastern on ACC Network against the MEAC champs, the Bison of Howard, led by Kanahaiga and tournament MVP Amina Bollinger. Who's got a better softball name than she does? Nobody. Howard going to be at Duke, opening up on Friday. Who else is going to be in Durham? Nice MEAC championship trophy. I like that. Front forward to Howard. Well, they already know they're in, and now we know exactly where they're going to be. We've already seen Coastal Carolina, but this is where we really celebrate with the Shants. There you go. Get that Sun Belt trophy up there. A walk-off win. And they are in the tournament for the first time since 2012, led by Georgia Hood and Nicolette Picone. And also going to Duke, how about them dogs? SEC at large, 4-timers in the Women's College World Series. Lily Backus, Jaden Goodwin, Sarah Gordon, Dallas Goodnight. They got some power, they got some speed. The dogs will be in Durham, and so will the Duke Blue Devils. Yeah, the Duke Blue Devils, this is a team that has a lot of speed and power on their offense, can put runs up on the board. Anna Gold with 13 home runs on the year. Vega, how about 11 home runs for herself? KK Mathis. This is just an offense that does a lot of things right. They create some havoc, chaos, and they're just a lot of fun to watch. And in the circle, they're very strong as well. Cassidy Curd overcoming
some back injuries, but has been doing outstanding getting back ready for the Blue Devils.
All right, that's the group at Duke. We've only got 2 left, folks. 2 seeds hosting regionals left. And one of them will be the Rhodes House in Tuscaloosa. They were on that host bubble, and they are in. And they are home. The Alabama Crimson Tide, the 2012 national champions, 4 times to the Women's College World Series in the last 5 years. They're Friday night on ESPN Plus at the Rhodes House. And they will be taking on Jackson State. The Hornets are the SWAC champs. They led the league in home runs. They led the league in batting average. Somewhere in there, Jace Jackson, Kalia Gibson, a pair of 400 hitters. We see you.
I don't think they're very excited.
And they will be taking on Alabama. Who else is going to T-Town, never down? How about the Belmont Bruins, champs of the Missouri Valley? Welcome the first time to the NCAA tournament with their MVC Pitcher of the Year, Maya Johnson. And how about Madison Dalecki hitting a home run on her birthday for the Bruins in the championship game? They are in. And they will open up on Friday afternoon against Virginia Tech. The Hokies, an at-large selection out of the ACC, led by Corey McMillan and Emma Lemley. They, by the way, did split their 2 games with Alabama during the regular season in March.
Oh, when you think Alabama, you definitely think chaos creators. This is a fun team, you guys. They lead the SEC stolen bases with 106. Audrey Vandegrift at the top of that list. 48 on the season. This is a much improved offense. You guys, they hit 250 last year. Now this year, 320. Big part of that is what they can do with the bats. Now, Jocelyn Brisky finished strong. She pitched the World Series last year. Caitlin Riley, between the 2 of them, you guys, this is a team that beat Oklahoma twice, especially between those 2 pitchers.
All right. So there is a look at the bracket. Alabama, Jackson State, and Belmont, Virginia Tech. 4 teams. Double elimination action Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in Tuscaloosa. All right, here we go. The last one. The last team to host a regional. And it is the Oregon Ducks out in Eugene at Jane Sanders Stadium. 6 trips to the Women's College World Series. They are your Big Ten regular season champs, led by Kai and Kedri Lushar and Riley McCoy and Lindsey Grind. They got a whole host of talented folks. And they will open up Friday night on ESPN Plus against the Wildcats of Weber State, champions of the Big Sky, with Riley Whalen and Abby Grundy. There you go, Weber State. Also, heading out to Oregon, throws some more Speedies on the grill down there in the southern tier, ladies, because the Binghamton Bearcats are picking up some frequent flyer miles. The America East champs, led by Elisa Allen. Oh, they got a chair. They've got a mobile chair. Don't hurt yourselves before you get out to Eugene.
That's right.
It's lovely out there at the Jane. That may be one of the longest road trips that anybody have. And who else is going to be there? They will open up Friday night against the Cardinal of Stanford. So another one of those. They wouldn't have been able to play in the past, but now that they're not in the same league anymore, they can. Led by Taryn Kern, Kira Chan, Emily Jones, Riven Mailer. You recognize a lot of those names from the World Series in recent years.
Well, guys, the Ducks, they can pitch. They're led by 20-game winner Lindsey Grind. She's only got 2 losses on the year. Hitters hit 172 against her, under 94 Ks and 104.8 innings pitched. And when you think about the sister tandem, Kedri and Kai Lushar, 79 stolen bases combined. They're both hitting 400. And I'll tell you what, a sneaky player, Riley McCoy, just a freshman, came out of nowhere, leading the team with 17 home runs.
So there you go, Friday night out in Eugene, Stanford, Binghamton, Weber State, and Oregon. There you go. The field of 64. We've got Tricia Ford, coach of the #1 team. We've got the chair of the selection committee, Kirk McGuffin. We got Kennedy, we got Ellis, we got Edenfield, all still to come tonight.